Everything that you've been told about attracting financial coaching clients is wrong. I've worked with financial planners, coaches, advisors, and 99% of them are making this mistake. And when we changed that part of their strategy, it changed everything for their business. In this video, I'm going to show you what's stopping you from getting leads from YouTube and your other digital platforms and what it takes to fix it. So stick around and follow until the end, where I'll show you an actual case study of a wealth manager that we helped get to court of the table status. So without further ado, let's get into the board. In the past couple of years, we've been polishing and improving and perfecting this blueprint that we call the personal brand blueprint. And we've been using it to teach financial advisors, service business owners, and online coaches to build a brand organically through their digital platforms and use that as a magnet that will bring in clients for their business. So it all starts with my own personal story, right? So I started my own YouTube channel a few months back. So it's been actually going around for about 4 months now. And in that time frame, I've been able to attract about 4,500 subscribers. And right now I'm averaging at around 30 to 40,000 views per month. But the most important thing in this business, right, is not just getting the views and subscribers. But the most important thing there is, although I do have a very small number of subscribers relatively to other YouTubers, right? The one thing that I'm really excited about is that I'm starting to get leads through my own channel. And this is through my financial coaching business, which I started as a hobby, and it's slowly starting to gain traction. And from zero discovery calls every single week for a very long time, now just through my YouTube content, I'm getting anywhere between 7 to 10 discovery calls every single week. It really started with this video that I posted where I talked about the framework that I created that would help aspiring internet business owners start their own side hustles. And so from this one video alone, I've been able to attract clients that have turned into retainer clients. And now I'm starting to teach them the principles, strategies, and frameworks that I've used to build my own marketing agency from scratch, along with my business partner and wife, Ses Mabilog. And so the reason why I'm creating this video is because I want you to experience the same kind of result. And while results might vary and differ from person to person, if you apply some of these principles, I could probably see this strategy working for many of your businesses as well. So the entire framework starts with this concept that I've been teaching to people who are starting online businesses, and also for service business owners that are trying to expand their business through digital platforms. And it's called the CEO framework. The CEO framework is a very stupid, simple idea where if you have these three clear pillars in your business: your customer, your expertise, and your offer, that it's really going to expand not just your brand online, but it's really going to expand your ability to get leads and clients through your digital platforms. Mainly right now, I'm focused on YouTube, as that's one of the more successful services that we've been providing for people in the service business space. And so if you want to learn more about this framework, as simple as it sounds, it's super powerful. We've been using it for all of our clients to increase their sales by 40, 50%, grow their brand presence at phenomenal rates. And if you want to check out that video, I'll leave a link somewhere in this part of the video or in the description below if you want to check that out. So let me talk about the one mistake that a lot of service business owners, especially financial coaching people and financial planning people, are making. And this is really the best way to illustrate it, right? I mean, like, this is a meme, of course. And I don't know if it's all ever a good idea to teach business owners with memes, but that's the way I do it. So, I mean, like, imagine this young kid right here who's trying to get to the top of the flight of the stairs. We all know for a fact that this is, well, number one, it's impossible, but it's also very dangerous. I mean, you could probably miss a few flights of stairs, and yeah, sure, you might be able to skip like one or two, but I'm pretty sure that you get the point, right? That sometimes if you skip too many steps, that you're not just going to fail at getting to the top of the flight of stairs, but you're probably also going to hurt yourself as well. And so we make this mistake as well with our business when we market on platforms like YouTube, on social media, And the main way that we do that is we try to convert viewers, people who are seeing us probably for the first, second, third time, and trying to turn them into clients. Now, that might work for low ticket businesses like e commerce, uh, or if you're selling a product or you're selling something that costs $10. But in the service business, especially for financial services, you have a very different funnel. I mean, we know for a fact that the cycle of closing a client can be very long. I mean, even if you're meeting someone offline, it might take 3, 4, 5 meetings in sequence before you actually close them. So I don't understand why a lot of business owners think that by skipping all of those steps online that it's going to yield a different result. Because the principle for offline prospecting and building relationships with prospects to turn them into clients still applies on digital, right? You can't skip steps. You need to go through the entire process. And over the years, we've kind of realized that there are 4 steps if you want to turn someone who has seen you online into a client. And I've seen this with my own personal brand because, like, every single time I jump into a discovery call with someone who wants me to be their coach, I hear them say all the time that when, even though it's the first time that we're actually hopping on a call, like many of them will tell me, I feel like I know you already because I've watched so much of your content and I've engaged with a lot of your content. I understand what you do, I understand what you can offer. And so most of the time when I jump into discovery call, they've already closed themselves. And that's what we've been trying to do for the businesses and the clients that we've been working with over the past couple of years as well, where we can help them create a funnel that does not skip steps. We hate shortcuts. I think a lot of people fail miserably at digital marketing and business because they're always trying to look for the fastest way. What's the fastest way for me to get $100,000, $200,000 per month in revenue through my channel? Over the years, the clients that we kind of like service and work with over time have really seen more sustainable results when they don't skip steps. And so, what are the steps is probably the most important question that we need to answer right now. So, the steps start by understanding the phases that a person will go through if they're starting to meet you online. Anyone and everyone on digital platforms will start as a complete stranger. They're probably people who have never heard of you, or probably if they did, they're probably very, very early in the journey. And so they just found your content online. They saw a reel, they saw your YouTube video. A lot of you are watching these videos right now. You're complete strangers. You had no idea about me or my business before watching this video. And so many people, once again, they try to go from stranger to buyer right away. The analogy that I used there is like you're on your first date and you pop the question and ask for someone's hand in marriage right away. It's very cringe. It's very dangerous. Even you could probably get into legal trouble. Maybe not, but like, I mean, it's you don't want to do it, right? You want to avoid doing that as much as possible, especially if you like the person and you want to get to know them more. You think that they're the one. You don't want to skip steps. Is what I'm saying, right? And so you don't want to do that because there's this principle that we use all the time in our business and in our own personal life as well, that slow is fast. This is something that I learned from a mentor, and we've implemented it into our own personal lives, our business as well. And we've seen the results, right? I mean, if you do things without skipping steps, if you do it the right way, that it will sustainably grow your business and allow your revenue to compound over time. So what are the steps then? So from stranger, you want to get someone to become an audience, right? Someone who is an audience of yours will probably subscribe to your channel, follow your page, subscribe to your newsletter, and just continue to get content from you. And at some point, after engaging with your content for quite some time, they turn into a believer, someone who believes that you are a person who is to be trusted, especially in the finance space, right? Because there's so many people out there who are claiming to be financial gurus. A lot of these strangers who you want to turn into an audience and want them to become a believer have probably been burned by someone who popped the question too early in the process. And so they're a bit traumatized. So understandably, now it's getting harder and harder to convert audiences into potential leads or clients. Daniel Priestley, who's this entrepreneur and very famous personal branding guy, was one of the first people that I heard this statistic from. That he said that it takes about 7 hours of content for people to watch from you to go and say that you are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, a person who is a trusted expert in your space. We think that if someone watches a 30 to 60-second reel from us, or maybe two or three of those, that they're going to be convinced right away that we know what we're talking about. Many times that's not the case. Once again, 7 to 7 hours, or probably somewhere along that line, is ideally like how much time they should be engaging with you in order to say that you are a person to be trusted. So that's through your YouTube content. That's why I love long form content like this, newsletters, blog content, some social media. Of course, at the end of the day, like, short form content is still powerful. I really believe that, and we still help a lot of our clients through short form content. But you want to build that relationship, you want to nurture that relationship, so that when you do get on a discovery call with them, there is very little doubt that you are the person that can help them with their financial goals. And once again, like, if going back to this phase, right, from stranger to audience believer, and then eventually turning them into a buyer, once you do hop on a discovery call with them. So what are the things that need to happen in between these phases, right? Because a lot of people, okay, like, you're seeing this and you're saying, I understand that it's very simple, looks like it's a concept that I can buy into. But many times where people really fail is not understanding the flow, it's in the gaps in between these different phases. Because how do you turn a stranger into an audience? How do you turn an audience into believers? And how can you turn your believers into buyers? That's where we get into the specifics of what a strategy looks like. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to turn someone from a stranger to an audience is to get awareness, right? To get in front of them, get eyeballs, right? Like, for example, in YouTube, you want to have the right SEO strategies, tactics, so that you do appear in front of your ideal customer profile. And that requires a couple of things. Number one is understanding who you want to work with in the first place, because if you're just shooting out generic content, then you're not going to reach anyone. So awareness is the first thing. And then after you have awareness, the next step is to gain their trust. Once again, very simple concepts, right? But like, hear me out, because this is really powerful stuff, and I've seen it with my personal brand, and I've seen it with the personal brands of the people that we're working with here in Blockland Strategy. So once you build trust, now you're starting to take an audience who is interested in what you have to say, and then telling them the things that they want to hear, for them to believe that you are the best person that to go to for the pain points that they have. So for example, if they want to start investing so they can retire comfortably at the age of 60, 65, why am I to believe that you are the best person for that? So having case studies, having testimonials, showing cases where you have helped some of your clients to reach those goals as well, or at least at the very least get them on the right track so that they will achieve their financial goals. So that's how you build trust. And I go back to the CEO framework, which, once again, if you want to check out that video, link in the description below. And after you build trust, then you start to have a conversation with people digitally. So you can do that in different ways. Like, the one way that I love to do that is by engaging people in the comment section. Or a lot of people, when they start seeing my content, eventually start to slide into my DMs on Facebook, on Instagram, and start asking me questions. And when I start to get those one-on-one asynchronous conversations, that's when I start to build rapport, right? And when you build rapport, and if you're in financial space and you have sales background, you understand this completely. This is not foreign language. When you build rapport with that person gets to know a little bit more about you. They get to see that you're not a scammer, that you're not just someone who is trying to chase after their money, or at the very least, that's what you want to communicate. Because many times, once again, I see a lot of these financial planners, coaches, go into the DMs, and they start to offer their services and their expertise right away. Once again, too early into the process. What you want to do is start a conversation. How do you do that? Ask the right questions. What are you after? What are your goals? Anything that I can help you with? Was there anything in the content that you saw that caused you to reach out to me that you had questions about? And when you have those kinds of conversations with these people, then that opens the door a little bit more. So that by the time you do send over a discovery call link where they can book an appointment with you through Calendly, then, I mean, as much like, it's just a matter of like seeing if you can help them or not. And then when you ask the right questions and you see they have the budget, they have, they're in the right place, they're in the right phase of life, you have certain cases that are very similar to theirs, then it's just a matter of going and saying that I think we're a right fit. So many times when I get into these calls, the times that I don't close these accounts are usually just because they're not there yet. But the beautiful thing is that I have already built that relationship with these people. So it all starts with building awareness. That's the first step. At least getting them to know that this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I know. Getting them to trust you, to understand. And sometimes when it comes to trust, once again, we think that it's just about value. Just provide value. And once again, that's a very big cliche that we hear online. Now, value is important, but value alone does not build trust. You need credibility. You need to show your expertise, your authority, your trustworthiness. And when people do see that, okay, this person is licensed, these people have a background, then they understand that this person, definitely I can trust this person. And when you start that conversation with them, then it's just a matter of like seeing if you're a fit or not. So this is the entire flow, right? And once again, the big mistake that a lot of people do here is they just skip steps. They go from viewer, hoping that they become a client right away. But you have to start by understanding that they start as a stranger. And then you need to build them into an audience, a person who's on your newsletter, someone who's subscribed to your channel, someone who's following you on Facebook. And then from audience, getting them to believe that you are an expert, and then eventually starting a conversation with them so that you can turn them into a buyer or a client. So, one quick practical thing, if you're here on YouTube and you're saying that you want to really build an audience on YouTube that will turn people who are watching and subscribing to your channel into clients, the one metric that you should be looking at inside your YouTube channel is this right here: average view duration, and in some way or another connected to that is average percentage viewed, because this is your best way to know if a person really wants to engage with you or not. If you have a 20-minute video and they're only watching the first minute and a half, then those people aren't convinced yet. They're probably somewhere along the stranger mark. But if they stay and they watch your content, then they're probably closer to an audience, especially if they subscribe to your channel, and they're probably a believer. So you see that as well many times when people are starting to leave comments in your YouTube videos where they say, "I've watched your video a couple of times. I really like learning this. This is really helpful." That's what you're looking for. You're looking for those signals that show you that people actually trust that you are an expert in your field, that you know what you're talking about, that you have the experience, you have the expertise. So if you have a YouTube channel, watch out for these two statistics. You should be looking at this. It's in the engagement part of your YouTube studio, which I'm sure that you already have access to. These are the numbers you should be looking at. Like for me personally, the sweet spot is anywhere higher than 35%. So like this video, for example, which is the example that I showed earlier in this video, is around 42.4%. And it's converted really well for me as well. It's brought in a lot of leads, a lot of discovery calls, and I've closed a lot of those people and turned them into coaching clients. Now, if you're seeing this and you're saying, yep, great, it works for you, could it work for other people? Then let me show you an example from this guy right here. Good friend of mine right now. We've been working with him for such a long time. He's one of our best clients and one of the case studies that we like to show all of our prospects. His name is Rico Desengano. He's a wealth manager, executive wealth manager in Singapore. When he reached out to us through our socials, once again, he was engaging with me through social media and eventually started a conversation, started to exchange messages on Messenger, and eventually got into a discovery call. Flew out to meet him in Singapore, closed the deal, and we've been working with him ever since. When we started with him, we started first with creating his social media content, but eventually we made a shift to YouTube content. And one of the best cases that we have is this video that he recorded where he talked about the S&P 500 and a lot of the misconceptions that Filipinos have when understanding investing in the S&P 500. And so the thing that we were trying to do here is we wanted to be very clear about our ideal customer profile, people who were from the Philippines, Filipinos. He serves a lot of Filipinos who love to invest in the global markets. And then we want to specifically reach the people who are at the point where they wanted to invest in the global market. So they had some understanding of S&P 500, ETFs, and so on and so forth. So by creating this video has reached very close to 10,000 views already. But the most amazing part of this is just the amount of of qualified prospects that it has brought him. And so here are some of the messages that he sent me over the past couple of months of just telling me about him closing a case. He has a new lead coming in, and then one started depositing, and all of these messages. I mean, I couldn't capture all of them, but like right now he's averaging about 10 to 15 prospects per month from his YouTube channel alone. Now, here's the interesting part. He doesn't even have 10,000 or 20,000 subscribers yet. We aren't there yet. He's at about 600 to 700 subscribers. But once again, it's not about how big your channel is. You're not trying to become a YouTube star. You're not trying to become Mr. Beast. You're trying to build an asset for your business that will generate leads, prospects, and clients for you. The one thing that we did when we fixed his funnel was to help him to not skip steps, to help him go through the entire process, to help him go through the entire process, to understand which strangers he wants to reach out to, the audience that he wants to build from those group of strangers, understanding that you can't serve everyone. Not all Filipinos will want to invest in the global markets, and that's completely fine. And then from there, turning them into believers and eventually turning them into buyers. So if you want to create a channel, a YouTube channel that will generate leads for you, this is the best place to start. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns about this, if you have any objections, then I have an email address. We have contact details put around this channel. You can reach out to me for any clarifications for that matter. And if you want to work with us, then we're more than happy to hop on a discovery call. If you're not a stranger anymore, if you've been an audience for a while and you're a believer, we love to just start a conversation and get to know your business a little bit more and see if there's something that we can do together. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully that was valuable. If it was, then subscribe, share it with a friend if you think that they need this for their business as well. And that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.